Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh. On today, episode 320, we're going to be featuring an amazing house at 6932 Chantilly Lane. And I remember when this was being built years ago, and I always wanted to go inside of it.
Now you did.
Now we're doing it.
And the second segment today, we're going to talk about where to live in Dallas.
This is a really good topic. It's got a lot of, we'll see how this plays out. Good needs analysis. Kind of let you know what we do. But before we go any further, Jeff has big news. Jeff is actually going to the Texas OU game this weekend.
Oh, I am. That's right.
You and the boys. What time are you getting started?
8:30.
8:30.
We're going to tailgate at the DART station at 8:30 and then ride the train over.
Do you have your outfit picked out?
Yes, and I can't tell you about it.
Oh, will we see pictures of it?
You will see pictures of it next week.
That's great. Very, very good. Well, all right. So let's go ahead and skip on into this. And let's talk about what is happening in the market. This is the question that I think that you and I both agree the number one question asked whenever we're out and about. And I can't say that there's anything on this right now that is surprising or disappointing. I think that what we're seeing is just an active trend right now where we're probably going to see a few more houses come on the market because interest rates have blown lowered and sellers have kind of gotten into it. I'm not surprised to see that the option and the pending and the close are a little off. Well, the option and the close, just because of where we are in the year based on last week, was at the end of the month.
And if you're an FHA or a VA buyer, you could get rates in the high fives right now.
That is amazing. So that is a huge win for people right now. And I think that it'll be the win for the buyers, and I'll also think it'll be a win for sellers as they kind of like can get out of this golden lodge and they'll still have a little bit left over.
A little funk that we have in.
A little bit. It's still here. So tell us a little bit about this house, Steph.
So this is an amazing home at 6932 Chantilly Court. This is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage home. It's right at 3,300 square feet. It's about 9 years old, and it's priced at $1,395,000.
So this is all great, but this is one of those little areas that was an infill product, and Dallas doesn't get a ton of infill product, so it's really exciting to see them be able to create this with more than just a single home, because infill is usually like one tear down and it comes back, and sometimes you get a lot of consistency within that area. This is really consistent because they all came out of the ground about the same time with the same developer. I like the way that it sits off of wood. I think that the homeowners have done a great job of using that buffer, to create like that green wall that's pretty high.
It is.
That actually keeps the noise and onlookers from actually seeing. So it has a really kind of if you know, kind of feel.
Provided a nice little screen and, you've got to cross through that utility easement where the power lines go through to get to this neighborhood, which I think is another really nice way to kind of segment it and make it more private back there. All of the homes are in similar style. There's the one on the end that's, I feel like, a little more modern direction than some of these, but these are certainly had more modern tendencies to them.
The other thing too is that if you're like kind of like living in that East Dallas area, proximity to Gaston, to Butner, and to Northwest Highway and Mockingbird, of course, are some of the key elements to get you in and out of East Dallas. And this just being just down from Mockingbird.
Yeah, this is a quarter mile south of Mockingbird on Williamstown.
Right. It makes it super simple to get across. And that makes commuting that much easier because you get on the east side of White Rock Lake, and it does add quite a bit of your time trying to come out. So this is a really, if you're not from here and you're thinking about this is a really great location for the East Dallas market.
And even if I like the way where this was located, because even if you're having to go to the east, let's say you need to get down to I-30, I mean, it's really a straight shot down to I-30, and then everywhere in East Texas that you might want to go is right there at your fingertips.
And some of the things that I always feel like we as Dallas locals take for granted are the airports. And so you got Love Field, which is at Cedar Springs and Mockingbird, basically super simple to get to. And then also DFW Airport, the large one, the international airport. So again, living in Dallas is really great because we're in the central time zone. We've been at 2 airports, 1 international. So we don't have to do that one stop, a layover, and go. We almost always direct.
It's one of the things that I hear people talk about when they have left the DFW area and go somewhere else where there's not a big airport hub, like, United's in Chicago, Delta's in Atlanta. But if you go to other bigger cities, sometimes you do have to do that connecting flight somewhere.
Even Austin.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Austin.
Yeah, true.
So it's interesting. One of the things that is really great about the actual, like, if we kind of get tight in on this, is the location to the White Rock Lake trailhead off of Bobolink. So this is an 11-minute bike ride or a walk, an 11-minute walk to this. But we know, and we're not going to bring them all up, but there's so many great things about being that close to a trailhead and getting to like do the entire lake, which is like 9.3 miles or something like that. It also has, rowing. It also has the dog park,
sailboats.
So this is a really great location to be able to take advantage of everything that White Rock has to offer.
And one of the other, if you're interested in some of the culture environment that you have, within just 2.5 miles, you've got the Meadows Museum at SMU. And the Meadows Museum is really a wonderful cultural icon in that part of the city where there's not necessarily other culture, facets like that. The Meadows Museum has one of the largest collections of Spanish art anywhere outside of Spain.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And we are probably one of the few cities that has 2 Calatrava pieces. The Meadows Wave there in front, and then also the Calatrava brick. So, I mean, Dallas has quite a bit going on with cultural elements.
And one of the other places that you might want to stop by is the White Rock Ale House. I've been there several times. It's a really great kind of neighborhood feeling environment to go in. The servers have always been just incredibly nice. There are a lot of people. This has direct access to that lower part of the Santa Fe Trail, which is right over there. This part of it's right over there by the bridge, the dam, not the dam, the spillway. Thank you. And there are a lot of people that will go park their cars in that parking lot, unload their bikes, go off on their ride, come back, sit down, have a beer, have lunch. I mean, you can just see that happening over and over again when you're sitting there.
And this is the season to make that all happen.
It is. That is true.
Gorgeous time of year. So these are really great things. A lot of things that the locals love to do. So without further ado, let's jump in and take a look at 6932 Chantilly Court.
So this is a really cool 2-story home. You can see primarily brick, a little bit of Hardybacker siding up on that second floor. Very smooth on the front. I don't know what the word is to use there, but done incredibly well. I don't know who the architects were that they used on these, but the floor plans, the layouts are done just beautifully.
I like how the fact that it is warm and still modern, because I think that it's a bit difficult for that to always happen, but because of the height of the ceilings, because of the windows that allows the nature in, and also I love the hardwood floors. So they had a slight hand scrape, which kind of brought back in that warmth and that texture that I think that sometimes modern homes lose. I fell in love with, and I don't know if we're going to have the right picture for it, but the symmetry from standing behind the kitchen bar right there and looking at that fireplace. The way those windows flanked with also the transoms above it, I thought it made all the sense in the world.
And you've got the two-story ceiling in the primary part of the living area there. But then you still got a 9 or 10 foot. I think these are 10-foot ceilings in the kitchen area. Hardwoods, they go throughout the entire house.
Okay, so they also look how they did tile all the way to the ceiling. And that's that tile that has more of an artisan feel. One of the things they also do is they upgraded to an induction cooktop here. It does have all the other elements you want, which is wine, second sink, 2 actual ovens, and the microwave, all built in, large pantry. This continuation of the kitchen to the dining room, I feel like this wins right now for so many different families because I feel like it allows the dining room to be incorporated and to actually be used on a daily basis.
And this is the downstairs office on the back of the property. This is where my office would be if I lived there. That is a Murphy bed that pulls out. So you've got great flexibility. There is a full bath just outside the door of that. Here's where you come upstairs, where you've got a little bit of a landing there, and it's still open. They have stair-stepped the windows going up, which, continues to bring that natural light in. Another small office area upstairs. If you're two that work from home and you need good separation, this definitely has that.
I thought it was really smart. And also what they've done in this floor plan is adding flexibility on the second floor by providing a second living space. So we have a second wine fridge now up here. So we won't go downstairs, which I think is really smart. And then the master bedroom is located at the back of the house. So they've also vaulted the ceiling here. And they've given it a lot of extra room. I believe the carpet upstairs was just recently replaced as well. Kind of one of those nicer features. And then we get to come into this really great bathroom, dual sinks, dual mirrors, just fitted out very, very tastefully. One of the things that Jeff and I were both extremely impressed about was the fact that there were 3 walk-in closets throughout this bathroom-bedroom combination. As you can see here, nothing to want for, nice step-in shower, and also a really relaxing oversized tub.
This is another bedroom that's up on the second floor. That mural is done so beautifully. I mean, it was done really, really well. Big windows. You've still got all the natural light that flows in. This is a third bedroom upstairs that is on the front of the house. So you've got good western light that comes in through those windows.
I was surprised at how big those bedrooms were, Jeff.
They were really big.
I was like, oh my gosh. So now we go outdoor, indoor, and that's a really great way to explain the space. So it is covered. It has a NIC system. There is also a TV mount there, ceiling fans, can lights. So it does extend the living in this, and it also is not on the west side, which is really great. This is called a cowboy pool, and this is actually surrounded by a Trek system, and it also is heated. So it's a really great size, super manageable. And what makes it better is that you have turf grass.
Mm-hmm. So if you've got pets, this is still a great backyard for you. You've got some good slope off there where you do need to, when you do need to rinse the yard. This is the floor plan that we've got uploaded into MLS as well. Yep. So if you want to take a look at that, you can.
So this is 6932 Chantilly Court. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage built in 2014, 3,030 square feet, and it is priced at $1,395,000, which is $422 a foot.
It's a really, really great home. We want to say thank you to Kim Gramatsky for letting us talk about her home today. If you want to see pictures that we didn't include, just click on the link below. They're down there. If you'd like to come out and take a look at the house, certainly reach out to us. We would love to make that happen.
It is a great house. And the other thing, too, that Kimberly did that's really great is there's a huge list of upgrades, and we didn't give them all. There's a really great list of upgrades in MLS that is really accessible for both buyers and agents. So great house. Definitely worth the look.
Definitely a great house.
It is. So what's the next step? What are we going to talk about now?
So we're going to talk about where to live in Dallas.
Where to live in Dallas. This is a huge question. And I think this is like, we wanted to kind of like share with viewers the way that you and I really try to like zero in with our buyers to like decrease some of the anxiety.
We work with a lot of people that maybe they've lived in Dallas for a couple of years, but they don't really know all of the neighborhoods and really kind of how the whole city breaks down.
Right.
I've lived here, 40 years now, so it's hard for me to be able to compare this to other cities. But one of the things that I think stands out about our city is it is very compartmentalized in terms of price point and renovation level in neighborhoods, and learning where all those little neighborhoods are is tough.
Because there's nothing more frustrating than that constant Saturday evening search, going to all the open house. Yeah, like, am I doing the right thing? Our rate's going to go up. All these things add to the stress. So what we try to do, and we're going to walk you through really quick because you don't have to answer them now, but this helps us locate, we like to say, 3 areas where your future house lies. So I'm gonna let you take the first section.
First one is who is moving? Is it going to be one person, two person, four people plus? Because that's going to help us figure out what size of home you're potentially looking at, how many bedrooms you're going to be potentially looking for. Most people start off with, and they'll say, oh, I want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. That's, so much of the inventory is 3 bedrooms, 2-bath.
Yeah.
How are you going to use it? That's the important thing. Number 2 is pets. Yes or no? Are we going to have to accommodate the critters? Do we, need to have a small backyard for your Doberman to go out into, or does it just have to be a Juliet door that opens where you can pull her out and squeeze a little bit? And what's your target move day? 30, 60, 90 plus days. Sometimes we start working with people, a year before they're actually ready to go out and start looking at stuff.
And it makes all the difference in the world. One of the other things too that really comes into play, because some people are coming from other areas that are more walkable or less walkable. And so we want to know how many minutes you see yourself like walking to the grocery store or riding to the grocery store. We want to know what your level of comfort is when it comes to that. Also, different genres, different generations want to know about what there is to do when they're out entertaining 5 or 10 minutes away. And so these all make us focus and help steer you in the right direction. Also, are trails and parks important to you? Mm-hmm. Some people do not care about that. They've got allergies. They're not going to do it. Other people that come from an outdoor space, and they've got to have that.
And the next category that's really important is how important are schools to you? Do you want to live near the closest elementary? Do you want to live away from schools altogether? Do you already have kids that go to private school that you want to be near? We have a lot of people that we have worked with that have moved from more of an urban environment, maybe when they were in their younger years of marriage, and then, for had to move out to the suburbs, but now the kids are going to private school and they're driving, they find themselves driving 60 minutes twice a day. Yeah.
But then there are even other people that don't even want to live near a school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even live in a school zone. So other things to take into consideration are lot and yard. 0 lot lines are great for people who are downsizing, mm-hmm. those that just do not enjoy outdoor work. And then there's other people who actually envision themselves gardening. They see it all as a way for them to relax, de-stress, and they want a yard space for a future pool. So these are things that you and I are really trying to zero in on, so we can get that list of the 10 things that you want and get as many of them as we can.
Mm-hmm. You just mentioned pools. That's another, a third of the population says I absolutely have to have a pool. A third says I don't want a pool at all. And a third says I don't care.
Right.
And so we just have to figure out kind of where you are in that, because it is a defining factor, especially in Dallas, Texas, with homes. We have a lot of homes with pools here.
Because of the heat. Mm-hmm. I think they have a different value than I would say the further north you go.
Right. I would agree. And, one of the things that we also run into frequently is how important are mature trees to you? Because if you're in the inner city part of Dallas, let's say inside the LBJ Loop, this area has all been developed since the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And then as you begin to start getting out toward Richardson, you had those that were in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And then you get into Plano, which is in the 90s. Even with those trees being, 30 years old, sometimes they're not as big and mature as you want them to be.
On Saturday, actually, in Azalea, the buyer made a comment, I love this street because of the mature trees. It is such a turn on. Other things to keep into consideration are the home type, mm-hmm. and whether it's lock and lead. So when we talk about lock and lead, we're talking about condos and typically high-rise that has some type of concierge or some type of management that's on site that can kind of keep an eye on the place. And that really does change the way your budget mm-hmm. flows. So it's just something that we definitely want to kind of keep in consideration. Also, will you be away for more than 30 days at a time? These are also important questions that kind of help us talk about security, mm-hmm. possible issues that might come or not. And last but not least, do you want to be a member of an HOA? Because once you're in, you are in. It is not changing.
Yeah. Work and commute. How much time are you willing to devote to driving to work every day? Do you get to work from home? Is that going to be a permanent solution? A lot of companies are kind of making their calls for return to office now. And what is your maximum commute? Is it 0, 15 minutes, 25 minutes?
Absolutely. And the other thing too is I think we have to take into consideration proximity to airports.
Mm-hmm.
Does your commute extend like beyond just the regular highways, but also like how much time are you be traveling to and from the airport? Other times people do not want to live anywhere near an airport.
Right.
They're on the exact opposite, kind of like a pool.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to weigh these into consideration.
And then we jump over into like outdoor recreation. You touched on trails just a minute ago, but outdoor recreation could also be, like having lake access, or it could be just being close to, whatever your favorite gym is, whatever, the local option of your chain.
Absolutely. So I think you kind of get the gist of what Jeff and I really try to like zero in with clients. I mean, we can still talk about age, we can talk height and price point. And those are also questions. But I think that for this kind of shows you the level of what we really try to focus on so that we can make the best step forward with you on those Saturdays and sometimes lunches as well.
Yeah. And a lot of times we're, as I said, we work with people so far in advance. We can set up searches for you based upon what we think, but we're also going to send you outliers every once in a while just to give you a little bit of an option. And you know what? There have been several times where you've sent things to people and they're going, "Oh, I didn't think about that." Okay.
The wild card is what we like to call it. I'm showing Katie a little wild card out in Richardson this weekend. And duplex. And she was like, I absolutely want to see that. Yeah, that is not in her wheelhouse.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I hope you found this helpful. If there's any questions you have about the process, certainly reach out to us. If you want to start the process, certainly reach out to us. We would love to make that happen.
And just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.